I know how much your time costs. So I'll be very, very careful and ask you straight away the difficult questions.
We have 1 hour.
What did motivate you to become a lawyer?
It was growing up in a challenging environment. You have to always argue to get your rights.
The lawyers, they have this ability to turn time into money.
We have to afford our suits because they can get very expensive.
Do lawyers in general give any free advice?
I can give you the solution in 5 minutes and save you millions, and then I earn nothing. It's not fair.
How do you manage to remember everything and to learn it all?
If any client expects his lawyer to be 100% ready all the time, good luck.
What about AI?
This will bring a lot of cases in court later on, and this will be business for us.
So what kind of lawyer is lawyer of the future? Hi guys, welcome to my new episode, Brands Through Stories. I'd like to thank you from my heart for subscribing to our channel, for leaving your comments, your likes. We really, really appreciate it. Please enjoy today's episode. I was always fascinated by lawyers because of their ability to take time and turn it into money and call it billable hours. Also for their ability to stay confident and cool under true pressure. And of course, for their mastery of words, when they can take a very simple thing and make it sound so sophisticated. I think for us as business owners, there's a lot of things we can learn from the lawyers. And today I have my chance because my guest today is Ahmed Elnaggar. He is a lawyer. He is the founder and president of Emirates Legal Network. He's the founder of the Jurist Legal blog. He's also a host of his own podcast called Monday Legal Podcast. And he's a managing partner of Elnaggar and Partners. Ahmed, please welcome to my podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I know how much your time costs. So I'll be very, very careful and ask you straight away the difficult questions that I always wanted to ask.
We have 1 hour. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I feel so happy to be here. Thank you very much.
I'm going to ask you straight away the first thing, and I'd like to apologize straight away to you because I want to ask the silliest questions that I've ever had. Right, so I'm sure most of the time you get the question something to do with the law and so on. I don't want to go in that direction. I want to just ask you everything that I had on my mind before and hopefully get some tips from you that I can use in the business. So first question, what did motivate you to become a lawyer? Why?
I don't think I needed a lot of motivation. I grew up in a family of lawyers. My dad is a lawyer, and I have 3 elder sisters, and they all are lawyers. So it was growing up in a challenging environment. You have to always argue to get your rights. You have to always come up with a valid reason for everything you talk about, because it's in the family. So, but I enjoyed it, and I think I knew I will be a lawyer since very early.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you agree with me that the lawyers, they have this ability to turn time into money? And I know that a lot of them have a reputation of being very expensive, and I'm trying to be politically correct. To make everything look expensive and be expensive and charge for everything. Do you agree with that at all, with that stereotype?
Part of it, not all, but I can tell you that I do believe that lawyers have kind of superpowers, because whatever the common people, the non-lawyers, see or read or notice is not the same that we see or read or notice. Because if you tell me a story, I will think of the legalities. I would think why. I think which part of your story is not really true, and which part of your story is coming from your own way to bring the story to your favor. So that's how we see things. We see it differently, and that's why we do have superpowers of turning time into money. Yes, I believe so. It's just that this is the only thing we have. That's the only thing we can give you, our time.
And that's what really I'd like to learn, actually. As I'm a consultant, or I've been growing consultancy business most of my time. And somehow in business consultancy, it's expected for you to give free advice. So a lot of time people just take it, but you know it, so why don't you share? And it's very hard for us, and I know it's not only me talking here, but it's a lot of my colleagues, consultants, very hard sometimes to say, okay, here we stop and here we start charging.
Right.
Why is it with lawyers it's so easy? You just sort of expect that it's going to be that.
I don't know. Try to read the legal book and figure out the solution for your matter on your own. It's not about just the knowledge that you read it and you try to sort out the problem. It's a complicated process since the beginning of the time that we start learning how to become lawyers. So in order for me to be able to give you a solution in 5 minutes, it's not just the time that I spent reading and studying and understanding the practical side and reading what the court opinion would be. It's started at the university time and the training time that I had in my early days of the professional life. Is it accumulates the knowledge and the know-how on how to think of this topic, and years of experience is not the 5 minutes that I spend today is what make me give you the answer. It's the years of experience and the knowledge and the updates I'm always chasing and so on and so forth. So it's an accumulated effort. It's not just 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I also have all that experience that I think, but it's. I guess it's the overall industry also that makes a difference, right? Do lawyers in general give any free advice to anyone?
We do.
You
we
do?
do from time to time. I mean, it depends on to who. It depends.
You choose
exactly.
What are the criteria?
We have pro bono programs for
Yeah.
the people who cannot afford the legal expenses. That it can be very expensive and very high. But I cannot reach out to a multinational company and the CEO of the company and come and say, why don't you do it for free? It's like, I'm sorry. Why do you want it for free? I mean, you're charging for your services, you're charging for your goods. You should charge also you should pay for these solutions. But someone who is less privileged, less able to afford the lawyer, they should get it for free. And in many occasions, when we have we call it an introduction call, can be 15, 20 minutes with any businessman or any entrepreneur or anybody who have an inquiry. We give kind of an introduction
minutes.
For the legal, or it's not just a 15 minutes. 15 minutes can have a lot of information that saves you millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's just that we will give you something just to understand that we know what we're talking about, and later on we will charge, because I can give you the solution in 5 minutes and save you millions, and then I earn nothing. It's not fair.
Maybe it's now you made me think. Maybe it's just when people go to lawyers, they actually have already a very clear problem that is formed in their head. Maybe that's
this is actually most of the you're right, you're absolutely right. That happens most of the time with people who get so often in trouble, is that they reach out to the lawyer when they have a problem. The right way to do it is to reach out to the lawyer before you get in a problem. So before you get in partnership, before you get in that deal, or before you buy that asset, then you probably need to consult a lawyer before you achieve. You go to that point, and then you avoid being in a problem.
Since you actually mentioned the idea of partnership, I just want to ask you here. It's a little bit off the grid, but I think it's important to us. The partners. So I know a lot of entrepreneurs now, especially startups, they jump into this partnership. Oh, I have a great idea. My friend has a great idea. Let's put the company together, go and try and raise money. Now, at which stage is important to go to the lawyer to sort out the partnership? Is it at the stage of, oh, I'm a friend, I have a friend, let's do this thing? Or it's a bit later stage?
No, I think it's really at the very early beginning.
Yeah.
One of the things that a lot of partnerships miss is that they actually write a partnership. They have it in writing. They have a contract between the friends or the family or the school mates who decide to go into a new project together. Is that everybody have their own definition of. I'm talking about the most simple thing. You know, everybody have their own definition of words. So what I call sweat equity is not the same as you probably understand. What I call expertise is not the same. Even with the small details, who handles the marketing? The marketing is a huge word, you know, that my expectation to it is not the same as your expectation. To align these two expectations into one single understanding, it has to be in writing. Otherwise, I will say one thing, you will say the same thing and do be different. So at the very early stage, the first thing to do is to write down your expectations between you and your partner, and then go ahead, do the business.
Yeah, I have to admit, I was so naive. It was more than 15 years ago. Now I'm not naive. But
Good.
I felt when my ex-business partner wanted to have a contract, I actually took it as a lack of trust. That's how, for me, it was always like, I took it as an offense.
Yeah, I mean, we go even beyond partnerships in the business sense, and some of my clients, I advise them before you get married, write a prenup agreement. Just explain your financial expectations between both partners, and before you come in, because, for example, marriage is a very serious matter, and going into this kind of relationship, knowing how does it mean financially for the other party is very important. And it is very sensitive to write that down. It's very, very sensitive to write down what's going to happen if, when, kids, schools, and so on. So I can imagine in a business partnership, it's a little less.
Yeah.
You feel that people don't trust you.
Yeah, I feel like straight away he doesn't want to trust me, and I don't know, just here we are, we're doing business. But I know the difference now. I've learned my lesson, that's for sure.
What a lot of people should think of is that the partnership agreement, or whatever agreement it is supposed to be for serve both parties. So if someone is proposing an agreement, he's putting obligations on himself as well. You shouldn't be upset or offended or anything.
Yeah. Going back to my silly questions. Have you ever, so I constantly, until today also, I fight with the imposter syndrome, right? So I think I need, even if I read 1 million books, which I'll probably never read, but I still feel that I have that imposter syndrome in me. Do you have that? Because lawyers, I mean, you look very confident, 100%, even from the first second when I've met you. And all the lawyers said they look very. Do you actually have that imposter syndrome at all?
No, I don't think I have that.
Really?
I understand very much my abilities. It's not. It's not too confident, or I think it's normal for the people who are humble enough as well to understand that my abilities are 1, 2, 3. These are the skills I have. These are the experience and the knowledge I have. I try to grow it all the time, and we lawyers we never stop learning. We learn every day, and there's a new law, and there's a new update, and there's new practice, and there's new precedent. All the time we have to update ourselves. So we understand very well that there is no way that we are too confident to read or too confident to learn. So it's not in our dictionary. So I don't think it will go well with the imposter syndrome if we have.
So you actually understand your abilities, your skills, and you work on them, and that helps you to overcome the imposter syndrome.
I just don't feel that it is a bad thing to continue learning and to not trust your knowledge 100%. I think it's okay for me to go back to the books and read and understand more or update myself. So I don't think it's kind of a less confidence in myself, but it's more of that's our normal process. That's how we work.
And going to the knowledge, actually, do you really know everything?
No.
Let's say in your in your area. Okay. One thing I got is different areas, different
Yeah.
lawyers for different areas, right? Now, in your particular area, how do you manage to remember everything and to learn it all?
I don't know where did it start, but worldwide people expect lawyers to know everything, or to memorize it as well, but it's not the case. Is really not what's happening. It's also funny because sometimes I feel like they expect lawyers to know every single angle of
Yes.
every field of the law. Because you're a lawyer, you should know everything, or you should know
Like
that.
doctors.
But for doctors, you have specialties as well.
Yeah, you're right. It's clear, at least.
It's very clear what
Yeah,
the doctor is handling. We don't have that much distinction when we speak to lawyers, but more and more people are understanding that there are specialities. And we are the same. There are corporate lawyers, there are litigation lawyers, even there are some litigation lawyers who are doing only arbitration, only mediation, only courts. It's a wide, very, very wide field. So no one knows it all.
So
it's impossible.
Even in one field, you don't. But how many percent? Because sometimes it feels like it's definitely 95%. And then all the numbers, the articles and paragraphs that you are able to mention.
The skill that we have and that make us look like we understand 100% of the law is that we understand where to find the information,
right,
and how to find the information,
right,
and the legal logic. This, right. I can tell you that 90% of the legal topics, I'll be able to give you 90% of the legal logic.
What is legal logic? How would you explain it?
That's actually a very nice question. The legal logic is when you tell me a story, I understand who is supposed to be responsible, for example, on several roles in this story, or the responsibility of who is supposed to take care of what. And the legal logic as well is how to find the topic, or how to research one topic and find the legal basis for it. Who gave the right to who to do what.
And that you could see, any story you could see through that lens.
Yes, more or less, because of experience.
Yeah.
After some time, you get to understand very well that this story has a missing element.
Right. What if you see the client and you don't know the answer? What do you do? How do you usually deal with that? Do you say, "Oh, I'm gonna look into that," or what is your line?
It depends. It depends if it's within my field or not. If it's within my expertise, then I have to tell the client I have to look into the topic, and I will have to come back with an answer for this. I know where to look. I will come back. And if any client expect his lawyer to be 100% ready all the time, good luck.
I thought you were always ready.
We are. We'll give you that.
You are. Yeah. Probably most of the people come with the same questions, right? Probably 90% of people ask the same thing.
It depends. It depends what kind of answer you want. If you want exactly the answer where, like, I don't know, give me an example. It's like you want that I give you what the law says word by word. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, and no one is going to be able to do that unless he's only specialized in that kind of article of the law, and he's working only particularly in this, and this you cannot find very often.
And talking about the words, I mean, you guys really are very good at, putting the words together. How do you learn that? Is it because you read so much, or or it's this, special phrases you need to memorize? Because it's incredible ability.
Yeah, it depends if I want to deliver the information to you or not, and it depends you are a lawyer on the other side or not. It's kind of a skill that we understand because of the reading and because of the knowledge that we have and because of the laws, and legal language is quite
Sophisticated, yeah.
in a way. But if I want to explain it to you, I will bring it down to the easy words because I want you to get the meaning.
Right.
So it depends what I want to do.
Right. And for me as a creative, so I write a lot of things. If I want to actually master the words, master the language, what do you think? What advice would you give me?
You mean the legal language?
No, just just in general.
I think reading is
yeah.
is the best way. Just read to people that you like their ideas and like their language. And I think if you open a book and the first 2-3 pages will give you the whole idea how this journey will take you. If it's gonna be very rough and hard to understand, and then you go to a dictionary every now and then to understand what this guy mean, or read the line 2-3 times, then it's probably not a good book. But if you have a book that you enjoy and the language is at a close level to you and it's taking you in an easy way, you will remember everything in it.
I think I've listened recently to some podcast, and it said that it's advisable to read books that is not the 21st century. More go back, because the language was richer at that time. I don't know how true that is, but that was the advice from the guy. Go back to the 20th, 19th century to really to see the beauty of the language.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is making research about literature and theaters and so on, then he will go back to these books and enjoy for sure. But if it's going to be...
Or if someone is a nerd like me...
It really depends what you want to do with the language that you learn.
Okay, now going back to the business and the legal industry. So there's a lot of times I'm sitting at the meetings, not a lot of times, okay, 30% of times at a meeting, and you could see the heated discussion at the boardroom and so on. I'm learning how to control myself, but sometimes my eye does this. What can I do to keep myself, calm and make under control? What is there? I'm sure you've also had this rise of emotions sometimes.
Oh, of course.
What do you do? Practical, please, advice. What can I do?
I think one of the most important things for any meeting or any negotiation, it seems like the meetings you're referring to are heated discussions because of conflict of interest or because of a negotiation or something like that. You need to go into every meeting ready. So you need to study the topic that you're going to start in the meeting. If you go in all of a sudden and you're unprepared, you have to take your time and you don't have to react. Because if I go in a meeting and I'm not prepared for the arguments or for the points that will be raised by the other party, I have to take a step back and say, thank you very much. I heard your points. I'll get back to you.
Right. So number one is really think about whatever scenarios that could be, anything, crazy scenarios.
Yeah.
What about, recently, one of the meetings I had, it's the first time I've met the person, and he was a representation of everything that I don't like in today's world, in particular this country, right? I love this country, but this is the new type of people who come to Dubai, and he was like the representation of everything that I really know my thing. And on top of that, the guy's super arrogant. So I was prepared for the meeting, but I wasn't prepared for that arrogance and that absolutely personality conflict, right? And chemistry. It's probably the first person I didn't want to connect at all at any levels. So in that case, did you have the experience like that when you just don't like that person opposite?
Oh, of course.
What do you do then? How do you calm yourself?
Well, it really depends. If that person is supposed to be a client, for example, I don't take the case. I don't do the job because there is no point. I really select very carefully my clients. I'm not in a place where I have to chase every bit of business that comes my way, because with hard clients, all clients are hard. Let's put it this way. They come to me when they have a problem, or before having a problem, afraid of it, or after having a problem and panicking and so on. So all of them are very hard to deal with. So on top of that, if you add this hard personality or someone who is not pleasant to do business with, it doubles up the stress and the weight of the work. And I'm not supposed to push myself into accepting any negative feelings from my clients. At the end of the day, I'm working with professionals. I'm supposed to enjoy my job, and if I have nothing else on the table and I have to deal with this guy, I will use all the techniques to put him down.
For example, to put him down during the meeting.
Well, of course. I mean, he needs to know his space.
Man to man. No.
Not necessarily. I've seen women doing that very well, and they're very proficient in putting things in perspective in a way that you have to stay in this lane where our relationship is just work. You will have to speak to me and deal with me in a specific way. You will have to stop, even if it's not directed to me, directed to other people or to other topics or a certain language that I don't like. Please stay on this lane, because only here I can help you, and you need help.
Yeah.
So you will have to listen to me. And if he's not gonna react to that in the right way, the market is full of lawyers. Like, go out and find someone who likes you. It's easier.
I agree with you. I think, like, one of my clients said also, not some food is poisonous. So you might get one person that you completely have a conflict, and it could, have a ripple effect on all other projects that you have. With this particular guy, it was a difficult case because I know he's there for a moment and then he's going to be gone. And you don't want to spoil the relationship that I've been building for many years with that client. I think I kept myself well. I did have a breathing exercise after that meeting.
You can have that as well as an opponent, not as a lawyer. And sometimes we sit on a negotiation or an expert meeting, a legal discussion table, and the lawyer on the other side is, I don't know, double your age and feels like you're too young to talk while he's arguing, or you're too inexperienced to argue his take on the legal matter. And I've seen that in my career, of course, and some of them were very rude and they crossed the line and so on. But you have to handle, because that shows how strong you are. And if you again, you don't have to react to everything. Sometimes you just don't react to it.
Do you have that boiling feeling inside, or you know how to
Of course, we're alive.
You do, right?
Yeah, we're normal.
You're alive?
Yes, we are. This is the point.
Because I have, like, my ears become red.
That comes with experience. Yes. How to handle the inner stress is something, but what do I show is different.
It's different.
Yeah.
You've mentioned something about... there's so many other lawyers that could go and find another lawyer. Now, going to the market today, from my experience in our industry, the market is saturated with all kinds of people. There's super experienced people, and there is newcomers, and yesterday's graduates, and everyone is here to fight for their clients. Do you have the same in your legal industry now? Is there saturated market?
It seems like, but we don't have that problem because there are enough business for everybody. And some lawyers, I actually think that they need to steal clients or to take clients from another firm, or try to overtake some other lawyers' clients and or pipeline of business and so on. But I think there's enough business for everybody. The market is saturated with problems. The market is saturated with businesses. The market is saturated with investors. I don't think there's enough lawyers. We are so many, and there's so many brilliant ones and so many mid-level ones, and so many newbies in the market, fresh lawyers who are trying to start their career. But there's still enough business for everybody.
In our industry, there's a lot of so the market is saturated. behind the scenes, what's happening is people actually spoiling their own industry. So they go down with the price. They completely, some of them, to enter the market, they start dumping the price. So behind the scenes in the industry is not a nice game anymore. That's why I stepped out and developed completely something different, that it's my own. But what I hear from you is not really the case in your industry. You keep it.
It's I mean, our fees and the cost and how much money we need is related very much to our overhead. So how many lawyers you have means how many salaries you are going to pay and how many fee earners are in your firm, which means that you have to charge
This amount
a little higher, or you have lawyers who are costing more money because of their experience, so you have to raise the fee in a different way. So it's all related to the overhead. So the bigger the firm, the more fees they have to charge. It's normal.
And I want to, the reason I asked this question also is I really love what you're doing with the Emirates Legal Network. And I think if you could tell, my audience who are watching, that you took, it was during the 2020, right? That you took that idea and you've created the whole network of lawyers. And instead of competing and fighting for the clients, you actually created something. Tell me more about it.
Thank you very much for mentioning this. Emirates Legal Network is my baby. I love it very much, and I think it's one of my biggest successes in the UAE. It started as a very simple idea. Again, it was not mine. I always say that everywhere because some people think that it's cool to take credit for others. It was an idea of someone else who started a WhatsApp group. And he put all the lawyers to network together. It was called, I guess, DLP, or Dubai Legal Professionals, for a gentleman from India. And he created this group to bring the lawyers together to network. And I was just a member of there, and I enjoyed it very much. At a certain point of time, he decided to shut down the WhatsApp group, and he didn't want to continue. And I took it from there, and I told him, I'm sorry, I don't agree with your idea. I think we should continue. If you don't mind, I will go and take it out into another group. And he didn't mind. At that time, we were about, I think, from 90 to 100 lawyers maybe on that group, or a little less. Half of them were not even in the UAE. The other half were here from Dubai. That's why it was called Dubai Legal Professionals. And that's it. So when I started with probably the same base, or 50, 60 clients, 50, 60 lawyers from the first day. And then later on, I started to grow it in a different way. 3 years down the line, this number of lawyers grew up to 600. The association is registered as a nonprofit association in Abu Dhabi Global Market. We have a trade name that is registered as Emirates Legal Network with Ministry of Economy. We have our own bank account. We have an executive committee that is managing the association. And this brings me to the main point. Ideas are there everywhere. It's just the amount of work and effort you put behind your ideas to take it from one place to the other.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. So you can have a brilliant idea, but if you're not working so hard on it, it's not going to grow. And this is what I did, and actually what me and my executive committee have done for a while right now, is that we've worked so much into regulating it, putting rules and terms and conditions, taking out all the members who are not lawyers or who are connected to the legal field, making sure that everybody is known. We know very well who is he and where they work and what they do and so on. And from there, the comfort and the trust that was built within the network have created a naturally exchange of trust. So now the lawyers can exchange arguments, they can exchange business, they can exchange information between them, documents, translated documents, and so on. So with this ecosystem, we built something very special, and I'm very proud of it today.
Is it online or it's offline also? Do you meet?
It is both. We
Both,
meet,
yeah?
yes, at least once a month in events or in gatherings for coffee, for after work drinks sometimes. 2 days ago, we were in the desert riding horses with our families
Nice.
in Al Qudra in Dubai. We enjoyed a lot, and we had afterwards evening at the barbecue place in the desert. It was amazing because of the weather now. So we do social
do.
events, and we do also corporate events together.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you discuss the industry, how to elevate, really upgrade the industry and keep it like that? Yeah.
Of course, on the WhatsApp group, that's mainly what we do. We
What's
update
to-
each other with new laws, of what's happening, and so on. We argue legal topics, or sometimes with the new law, we get the feeling from the professional, the practicing professionals, how this will change a little bit the way we work. And also, we're not only lawyers who are working for law firms. We have the lawyers who are working for corporations,
corporates,
the corporate
Yeah.
councils as well, working with us. We bring the compliance and anti-money laundering
Right.
professionals with
Right.
us. We bring the corporate service providers who are establishing companies and doing the corporate governance work with us. We bring legal translators. We bring notaries.
So it's the whole ecosystem.
The whole
that-
ecosystem
yeah.
for the legal work all together. So everybody's exchanging information. We have students and fresh graduates coming to look for internships or work. We have people asking for pro bono. We have lawyers from everywhere in the world, all languages. So it's really a very cool thing.
You must be very proud of yourself.
Very much.
I'm very
yes.
proud of
always-
you.
Thank you very much.
The other thing I'm really amazed to see is your own podcast, right? And because I'm in the same industry, I'm a podcaster myself. I've seen your podcast, Monday Legal Podcast, and I love it.
Thank you.
It's incredible you're so consistent in that, right? I think you're more consistent than I am with my.
I did one mistake. I called it Monday Legal. So every Monday I have to post something.
So is that because of? That's what maybe I need to change the name of my podcast.
It encouraged me a
push
lot.
my-
It put me on the lane that you cannot miss 1 week without posting something to the audience. And everybody's expecting to hear something on
Just
Monday.
On Monday.
Yes.
When did you start?
I had 2 starts. I had started in January.
Right.
I recorded only 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then I stopped until April. And then April I started again. And from April till now, this year.
Well done.
Thank you.
And what is interesting also, you're a lawyer yourself, you have your own practice, but then on your podcast, you literally bring your competitors. Can we call them competitors, right?
We call them colleagues.
Colleagues. We call them here behind the scenes competitors. And then you bring your colleague and then you shine the light on them. You make them shine, right?
Yeah, of course.
What is that motivation behind it? How did you come up with this concept? And
I repeat the same thing always. I do much more business with colleagues and what we call competitors
Yeah.
than business with anybody else. I have clients from all over the world who's coming to me for IP and trademark. I don't do IP and trademark, but I need someone who's doing that. So I bring in one person. I do real estate a lot, complex
Right,
and rental disputes, and I do transactions and so on. But I have a client who is a Russian speaker, and he needs a Russian speaker to be comfortable to deal with them. And I don't have a Russian speaker. I'm saying, for example, I do have a Russian
got it.
speaker in my firm, but I'm saying,
just disclaimer.
For-
I got it.
for example, if I don't have, I will bring them. And someone, and Swiss people, Italian people, and so on.
Yeah.
Clients like to make reference to their consultant. And sometimes there's an area that I don't work in, or a type of clients that I don't deal with, or a type of language that I don't have. And with all these colleagues in my network, I feel very confident. Plus, their experiences are not the same as mine. I never did sports law, for example, but I brought in a sports law professional who
Oh, wow.
I learned a lot from him. I don't do crypto legal work, and I invited one lawyer who was specialized in this, and I learned a lot from her. So it is not just that I'm shining the light on a professional who actually deserve to be recognized because he's very smart or she's very smart and she knows what she's doing and she deserves to have some spotlight. And at the same time, I enjoy it because I learned something during this podcast, because I have to research the topics before and I have to speak to the lawyers and understand what are the questions I'm going to bring up.
And I think it's beautiful. And I think that the industry I'm in needs more like that platforms also. I think, especially those who's been here for so long, I think it's important for us to hold hands, actually, rather than competing now in the same point.
We lawyers in general, we have this thing, is that we do not see a rival of our colleagues. We don't see that this much competition. We're all colleagues in the end. I remember, I told you my father is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And when I was very young, I was probably 12, 13 years old in the law firm. And I noticed that he was correcting the statements that will go from our office to the judge. And he was explaining to one of his colleagues, again, younger, that you cannot write in the statement that the other opponent is lying because that's offensive. At the end of the day, that's your colleague. You cannot insult your colleague in court. You have to be polite. You can say that this is a wrong statement or a wrong allegation or something like that, because there is some level of respect that you have to give to your colleagues, even if they are on the other side of the table. And I remember this forever. And for that, I think it doesn't matter if you're my opponent in one case, but we are colleagues at the end of the day.
And I think if we were going back to my first question at the beginning about the reputation of being expensive and so on and the charging, I think that has to do a lot with that also, is that ability to, is that you're together, you preserve the industry, right? You make it. The reputation of the industry is the most important thing for you. Whereas if we're taking different industries that are saturated now, what's happening around, even real estate, it's mind-blowing sometimes what's going on there, right?
Exactly.
And the competition there.
Yes. And also because we have to afford our suits because they can get very expensive.
That's why I didn't put my tie today. I cannot afford it. Well done. Yeah, and you match your tie with your glasses, right?
Yes.
I keep on looking. This is beautiful.
Thank
a
you.
little flower. My colleagues from business, from the marketing, PR and other, please, could we do that so we can afford the better dresses? Okay, so you're not really scared of your colleagues and competitors. What about AI? Because I get a lot of now things from, Nina, we used to write the employment contract using these lawyers. And so now we just, put it into the chat GPT and it's all done. Are you worried about that?
To the business people, I encourage them to do that because this will bring a lot of cases in court later on and this will be business for us. So good luck. Do it more often, please. And if you take my opinion, I think the AI is an amazing tool. It's a beautiful technology that we have to embrace. I go back to the same example. I grew up in a law firm. I was 7 years old, so I saw the beginning of technology when we had a typewriter, and then in the office we had the advanced typewriter, which was electric, that makes it easier to write faster, and then the switch to computers, and then the switch to internet, and then from internet to what we have today, going to the AI. So it's a tool. If the lawyers are not going to embrace and use, they're going to be falling behind. They're going to be unemployable. So it's a tool for the lawyers, of course, It's just a tool, a technology tool, like any other technology
Right.
tool that we will make us work better, faster, smarter, and everything. But for the client to rely on the AI for legal advice, good luck.
A lot of them are doing. I did myself also.
I encourage you to do that because that will bring us a lot of business later on.
I've seen you're using AI, right? You have the technology on your something that
Yes.
Platform that is.
I've developed like a chatbot just based on OpenAI, like ChatGPT, but with a closed source where we are feeding the artificial intelligence with the information, with the data, of course, verified by lawyers. So it's not any information that they will just collect from the internet. We will give it the information and we'll speak to this information. So it's a tool for lawyers and a guided tool for non-lawyers as well to get an understanding of how to solve a legal issue, for example, but it's not going to give you a legal advice. So it's a kind of a legal assistant.
Right.
An AI legal assistant, but it's not a lawyer who can reason and analyze and think and give you an answer.
Do you think that will never be replaced by the AI?
Never. No. It will be a tool in the hands of lawyers who will be able to use it very well.
So what kind of lawyer is the lawyer of the future?
The lawyer of the future is going to be the lawyer who knows how to speak to the AI, how to use the AI very well to make his work faster, easier, and more accurate. And it's not only AI, because the AI is one of the legal tech solutions that is happening. And in general, legal technology solutions are in the revolution stage right now. There's so many companies and so many developments that's happening. So the lawyer of tomorrow is the lawyer who will be tech enthusiast. So someone who is tech enabled. Lawyer who understands technology and AI very well.
And what about human characteristics? Anything specifically? I don't know, empathy, for example. They say leaders need to be very empathetic.
It was always there and always needed. I mean, lawyers have been working with empathy all their life. It's just that, it's of course all the good traits should be available. Let's say the lawyer of tomorrow is going to be a little more relaxed because he will have more time. Not so stressed as the lawyers of today. So hopefully we see a relaxed version of a lawyer.
Sounds like a bright future you guys having out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're looking forward for.
Couple of last things I want to ask you. We all know different kinds of TV series about lawyers. One of them, of course, Suits, right?
Yeah.
What do you would say one of the things that they always get wrong in the TV series about lawyers?
In Suits, every show has a different
show
thing.
That is, yeah.
Oh, it's a good concept and a good show, but it's not real. It's just it's not so real.
What is unreal there?
The suits are very nice in the show, but in reality, law firms don't look like that. It looks similar in the advertising and the corporate photos, but we don't look like that every day. That's one. Number two is that we do not fight so much with our clients. We mainly are so aligned and so in agreement, and most of the time at least, with our clients, that because we always work for the interest and they understand that, so it's not so aggressive as it shows on TV. What else? It's not that easy to solve cases. Sometimes it takes much more time and much more effort. Yeah. That you can, I don't know, find something out of court, out of the law system, and just cases solved because of that. Like, okay, it's not reality.
I would like to ask you a last question that I'm asking my guest now. If you had an ability to get a superpower at your profession, your work, what would that be?
Mm. Um, I mean, we already have this superpower. It's reading minds. We don't really have the exact ability to read minds, but after a few meetings, we can understand behind the scenes. No, because it's funny because some of our clients come and some inquiries, they come and tell you their side of the story. And their side of the story is always to their favor or always biased opinion to guide you to sort out the problem in the most favorable way they think.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to understand the whole picture, to give them the right advice. So maybe the superpower, not for us, because we will read this the truth anyways, because that's what we're trained to do, is to convince the clients, is like, don't lie to me. Don't tell me half the facts. Please tell me the whole truth at once. Then I can help you.
Well, now I'm even more fascinated by lawyers. Thank you so much, Ahmed. That was so amazing. There's a lot of things I think I'll take in my business practice now. I love the idea of reading the story, reading who is what, and having a bigger picture on everything what's going on. I'm so happy that you're human beings and you also feel in difficult situation that you feel.
We do. We just don't show it.
Yeah, this is I love. And I think the biggest lesson for me today is that we need, as professionals from the industry, we need to protect our own industry. And I think this is something definitely that we as business owners have to learn from the lawyers, definitely. Otherwise, we're all just going to kill each other with lowering the prices, and then eventually AI will remove us from this planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, everyone does this. You do this. Thank you, Mr.
I'm limited here.
Was it good? I loved it.
Very nice.